He is adorable. You've been in my lap for about 20 or so minutes. Good boy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I wanted to take a moment today to talk to you about a video game that I just finished. I finished Golden Sun. And for those that are not aware, Golden Sun is a Game Boy Advance game from the early 2000s. I got it when it came out a million years ago, and I don't think I've ever finished it. I probably got pretty far into the game, but I don't think I finished it, because as I finished it, recently for the first time, I was getting to stuff that I didn't remember. So I was like, I don't know that I ever finished this game. And when I played it as a kid, I really loved it for the graphics, because it's a very pretty game. The battles specifically are really impressive for the Game Boy Advance hardware. Very, very impressive. And I remember really liking that as a kid. And then also I was into RPGs. I really like JRPGs. However, playing in adulthood and having, I guess, more logical skills as well as more video game experience, I realized that Golden Sun is wildly deep, because how the battle system works allows you to do so many interesting things with your character's classes. How Golden Sun handles their class system is amazing, because you've got 4 characters, each that correspond to a different element: earth, wind, water, fire. And there's these creatures in the world that you can collect, and you should, named Jinn or genies. And there's 7 for each element. So there's 28 of these things in the game. You should seek them out, because adding one of those to your party is even better than like leveling up. So you should try and find these things. And throughout my adventure, I found them all. There was a few that I had to look up because they were obtuse, but I got them all as I played through Golden Sun. And what's so interesting about how Golden Sun works is that you can control the classes of your individual characters by assigning them the Jinn. So what you can do is you can take your Earth guy and say, okay, this is my Earth guy. I'm going to give him all the Earth Jinn. You can do that. Or you can change it up. You can say, all right, well, I'm actually going to give you half Earth Jinn. I'm going to give you the other half. I'm going to give you fire or whatever. And as you do that, you unlock classes. So your class changes, and this all happens like immediately. Your class changes, which obviously is going to change your health, your attack, your defense, the spells you know. It is such a cool experience to be able to alter all of that on the fly, and I loved that. It's also, the other way that it's deep is that you can choose to have the Jinn in your party, which is called setting them, which affects your stats, or you can put them into standby mode, and when they're in standby mode, you're not getting the stat benefits, but then you can do like very powerful summons. The class system is the thing that really impressed me, because I'm fairly certain that I missed out on that as a kid. I think that's something I noticed more now, but it was very cool. And the thing is, if you don't want to deal with it, you don't have to, because you can just assign the Jinn to the corresponding element, and you don't ever have to think about it. If you want to play the game that way, you can, and that's a viable strategy, because it's I want to say it's almost expected that you will probably do that. But if you experiment and you start changing things around, or I guess if you go online and find how you're supposed to lay it out, you can unlock different classes, which, dramatically change what your stat boosts are, or what, spells you know. And that's super, super cool. Anyway, I just wanted to gush about Golden Sun, because I didn't realize it was as deep as I thought. The only real downside is that to unlock some of the classes, it requires a lot of Jinn, and you don't have a lot of Jinn until closer to the end of the game, but it's still super, super cool. The other thing about Golden Sun is that it's really 2 games in one, because there's Golden Sun, but there's also Golden Sun: The Lost Age. And when you are done with Golden Sun, you can carry that progress over to the Lost Age. Ideally, you'd have 2 Game Boys with a link cable, but there's also a password system. So when you finish Golden Sun, it'll give you a very long 260 character password that you can type in to Lost Age if you don't have a link cable and get, all of your levels and items and all that stuff. You can transfer that stuff over. You don't have to do that, but you can. And that's just very nifty because as I'm playing through Golden Sun, I'm aware of that. So I'm playing through the game and I'm like, I'm collecting some items. I'm holding on to some cool stuff because I'm thinking, well, I'll get a chance to use this later on. It's funny because there's a lot of games where I'm sure you'll be able to relate to this. You hold on to your best items until the end of the game and then you beat the boss and you're like, oh crap. This is one time where I beat the boss and I was like, well, I still have this stuff, but maybe I can use it later. I don't know. So, it was very fun to play. I really enjoyed my time with it. I am going to be soon typing in that 260 character password into Golden Sun Lost Age and starting that. So I'm sure I'll talk about that at some point in the future. But Golden Sun is really, really cool. And there's other cool things about it. I mean, you have spells that you can use in the overworld that help you solve puzzles, and there's a lot of puzzle solving, which is very, very fun. The summons are very cool. They're a little overpowered in the sense that once you have 4 summons, once you have like 4 Jinn to do like a level 4 summon, you can just go into basically any battle with all of your Jinn in standby and do summons on every turn and basically steamroll almost anything. Because I did that with the final boss, worked great. And there's a secret boss that's even harder than the final boss, worked great. So I've read online that Lost Age is harder, and I guess we'll see exactly how much harder whenever I start getting into it. But wanted to talk about Golden Sun today because I thoroughly enjoyed it, even more than when I played it as a kid. I highly recommend it, and it's easier to play than ever because it's on NSO. So if you have... Is it the expansion pass of the Game Boy Advance stuff? If you have the NSO with the expansion pass, Golden Sun and Golden Sun Lost Age are on there, and they're fun games. They're very fun games. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. You can talk about Golden Sun down below. I just really wanted more people to know about it because it's far more complex and interesting from a mechanical standpoint than I remembered, and I want more people to know about that aspect of it because I found that very interesting and very, very fun. Okay, I'm done. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?